To Monday Soul Deliciousness. I'm going to give you a second. You know the drill if you've been here before. So hop on, tell me where you're from. I'll give you just a second to get your notification that I'm live. I'm going to show you something super cool. So it is, if you're watching a replay, and by the way, I post all my videos on YouTube. So that's the easiest way to find my stuff and to get notified is to just hop on and subscribe to my YouTube channel. That way you don't miss it when I go live on my Facebook page. And obviously those videos get hidden with all the other posts that I make. So it is Memorial Day. And I'm going to show you something super cool because I was able to find these patches. And we're going to just do a little military thing for a second. So I live in Utah. If you've never been on here before, quick introduction. My name is Amy Jorgensen, and I am the founder of the Soul Centered Academy. And I have created a methodology called Elevate Life Vibration, which is a process that you can use to basically clear out all your past agreements, blocked emotions, things that you haven't cleared away, traumas, whatever, so you can find your happiness again. How do I know this? Because I've been in some pretty crazy life situations and had to learn to love myself all over again. So I know it can be done. All right. So I did spend some time in the United States Air Force as a KC-135 driver, pilot. We call them drivers. KC-135 driver. So that is a air refueling Boeing 707 tanker. So when I got out of active duty and I came to the Utah Guard for a little bit of time, we used to refuel fighters from Hill Air Force Base, which is just local here in northern Utah. So I was able to get some patches from the 421st Fighter Squadron, and I have this thing for spiders, and so I'm super excited. So I'm going to show them to you. These are pretty cool. And then we'll do a little like, who the heck are these guys? So squadrons in the military, lots and lots of, this is my favorite, Black Widow Lightning Driver. This is the F-35. But military is so full of tradition. So these guys are part of the 388th Fighter Wing at Hill Air Force Base, and they are the F-16 drivers fighting Falcons, but now they're flying all the F-35As. So that's the one I just showed you. If you know nothing about this, just know, I'm just going to say, excuse my language, but F-35 is a badass fighter plane. 43,000 pounds of thrust, okay? I may like adrenaline. Anyway, they got their name from World War II. They were flying the P-61 Black Widows, which were a night fighter. And so that's where the Black Widow came from. And that's why they have these cool patches. So I love military patches because they always have some kind of background of why they're called what they're called. And it's really cool to like dive into it. Okay. So moving right along, but let's just take a second, right, to Memorial Day, remembering all those that served. And we're going to talk about our energies. So we're going to move into, I'm going to talk to you about how your actual energy works and how you can amplify your energy by doing more than just the normal thing that everyone tells you, right? That's the thing that I like to do. I'm not just going to come on here and be like, the 3 ways that you could amplify your energy are getting more sleep, eating healthy, and meditating. Because you already know that, right? It reminds me of when I went to church when I was a kid and they're like, read the scriptures, pray, and go to church and all will be well. We're going to dive into it a lot more than that. So, let me go to my chat. There we go. Okay. Love it. If you say where you're from, if you're shy, that's fine too. I'm the type of person that hops on and I don't like to, get myself involved. So my chair is like so squeaky and it's falling apart. Feel free. Someone send me a new chair from Amazon. Just kidding. Okay. So we're going to talk about how your energy works, how your energy connects to this really cool thing that's called the Schumann response, which is measurable. As you guys know, I'm all into data. Things have to be measurable. It's just the way that my brain logic goes. Going to school, spending too much money on needing to know data. So we're going to talk about how your energy connects with the frequency of the earth and how you can amplify that and to set your energy around you. Now, for those of you that are like, what is this person talking about? I'm telling you, get out of your physical little realm that has been crammed into your head all your life since you were a kid. And I want you to open up your thought process a little bit. Think outside the box. Your life will change if you stop living your life the way that you were taught to live it, okay? Because you are not a physical body. You are a energy stuck in this matter, okay? And you can access so much stuff and get outside of that little dimensional space of where you're living inside your physical body, which leads you to living this really amazing life where you're super balanced and you don't have health issues and you just feel really good and you are just, you're beating away the anxiety, you're beating away the depression, all those things behind us. So we're going to talk about a couple of terms so that you can follow along with what I'm saying. So grounding. If you're not familiar with grounding, you've probably heard about it, but what really are we doing? We are grounding ourselves, I like to think of it as this, bringing our energy to the space that we are in right now, because most of you are living in a space from the past where you're freaking out about things that happened that you have no control over, or you go to a space that's too far ahead because you're worrying about the future. So grounding, think of it like this. You're kind of like, you're encompassing and bringing everything to the present time. Your mind, your energy, obviously your physical body is already right here, but you're bringing it all together. So you're not just kind of like all over the place. So grounding. There also is this really cool meditation sanctuary that is in your little noodle. And most people, they think it's like right behind their eyes, but it's actually much, much deeper into your little noggin. So if you do meditate and you have been taught to go to that space right behind your eyes, I want you to go to that space a lot deeper. Literally, if you put your fingers on your temples and you draw a line and you put your finger on the top of your head where the soft spot is when you're a baby and you draw a line straight down. Okay, following me? And then you put another line right here through the center or your third eye. It kind of gets a lot further back than right behind your eyes. So if you've been taught to meditate, I want you to meditate a little bit further back. So that's just placing emphasis and your intention on this space. Like when I go to that space, when I focus on that space, I can see a lot of really clear, very vibrant. I don't know how to explain clear light, but it's very pure, very bright, very white, like light. That's what I see when I go to my space. So you're gonna get something different. Never try to compare what you're getting when you're doing this kind of stuff with anyone else because yours is different. So that's what we're talking about when grounding. I want you to think of grounding, bringing yourself to this space. Next term we're going to talk about is your life force energy. You can call it whatever the hey you want. You can call it your prana. You can call it your life force energy. You can call it your spirit body, whatever. It's just that part of you that is your pulse. This is actually measurable, your spirit pulse. So biophysics, we call it your biopulse, and you can actually, it's like it's your fingerprint. It's your energy fingerprint. So my frequency looks different than your frequency, which looks different than anybody else's. It's just as unique as a fingerprint. It does change. So your frequency vibration can change where it's sitting, all this stuff. We're going to go into a little bit more. But then we're also going to talk about the Earth's frequency. So this is called the Schumann response. It's this really low pulse energy that the Earth gives off. But as physical beings on the top of the Earth, we are affected by this pulse. So is everything else. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about exactly what's going on with that. Now, if you are a person who has really dove into this stuff, all of what I'm going to tell you, you can make it so that it's open and it's flowing. I want you to think of it as like a stream. I live in Utah, so I'm going to call it a creek or a crick, whatever floats your boat, or a river. You want everything going down, right? But what happens is you get things stuck in the way. You get logs, you get, who knows, whatever people have thrown in there, right? Garbage, all sorts of stuff, clutter up, and then the water doesn't flow fully down, even rocks. And so that's kind of what happens to our energy systems. And so, yes, we have our own energy going on, but you have all of this blocking. So you have meridians and chakras. Those are like the organs of the energy and the veins of the energy world. And so your chakras and your meridians are working to flow your energy around. But with all these traumas and emotions and things you haven't cleared, it gets really stuck and nothing's flowing very well. And then you start getting sick, right? Ooh, my arm hurts. I don't know why. Or, my thyroid is breaking down. It's all just because you have stuff blocking the way. So I'm going to teach you some things that you can do right now that you can work on yourself to help this, that are way over and beyond just like, I'm going to sit in a chair and meditate for a minute, okay? Or listen to some amazing music, which is helpful, but you got to really get some intention to visualize what's going on in your body. So when I say the word imagination, most of you freak out and you're like not comfortable with that because people have told you that you need to grow up, stop imagining stuff that's not real. When in the reality of it is, that is how you access your energy source. So I give you permission right now in this moment, use your imagination to your full extent and allow this to flow with however it comes to you. Because the way that I imagine it and the way that you imagine it are not going to be the same, and there is no right or wrong. Okay, so first of all, I want you to think about the fact that the way that you access the Earth's energy or the Schumann response, which there are really cool apps if you want to go and see how it changes at certain times. It can kind of help you. Like if you need to reground your own energy, if you're watching the Schumann response and you see that it kind of goes out of whack sometimes. The only thing I will tell you is be careful, because if you get really stuck in thinking anytime the Schumann response goes haywire, so do you, then you know what you're telling your subconscious. Every time I see the Schumann response frequency, I'm going to make sure that I go haywire along with it. Just remember that we believe whatever we tell ourselves. So be careful what you believe. Okay. So the soles of your feet chakra, that is where you are able to bring in energy from the earth. And when you see people that are like, "Ooh, I love walking through the grass barefoot. I love walking through the sand. I love swimming in water. I love being out in nature. I love the rain." These are all just ways that we're absorbing those types of energy. And so, especially when we're walking around barefoot, it's easier for you to bring that in. But you can bypass that too. You can absolutely ground into the earth, even with shoes on. So, especially where you get more, you can see me, like I'm like bringing it in, bringing in the energy. This is how I bring in energy, is by rubbing my hands. And it's different first. I've seen lots of people do this. I see people tap, all kinds of stuff. Okay. This is just mine. So basically is what we're doing is with intention. And I'm telling you, use your imagination. So when you do this, if it helps to close your eyes, then by all means, close your eyes. So you're thinking about, what does the energy look like to you that's coming up? Okay. Let yourself imagine that. Because if you're like, I don't see anything, then ask yourself the question, if I were to see energy coming up out of the earth and this beautiful energy from the Schumann response, what would it look like to me? Okay. So for me, and mine changes. So today for me right now, everything is really white light. So I'm seeing that really white light. And with intention, I am just visualizing that white light as it hits the bottom of my feet. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bring it up through the soles of our feet. So you're just going to absorb it up, and then you're going to let it flow, and it's going to flow up through your legs, through the soles of your feet, into your legs, up to the base of your spine, because that is yes, I'm going to come back to that. That is where your chakra is. That is your root chakra. So you're bringing that energy up, imagining it going through, and then it's basically coming back down through your feet. And you can pick things up in your body, and you can send them back. You can send them actually back out to ground back through the earth. Will happily do that. I like to do it with gratitude. So I'll say something think along the lines of, with intention and gratitude, I'm giving this anxiety that I'm feeling into the ground, into Mother Earth, and wherever that goes, higher source energy, wherever you want to send it to. There is no right or wrong, guys. You can send it to God, whatever works for you. Just get rid of it and allow it to go. So here's the cool thing. Most of us are haphazardly doing this in some way. Oh, Gina, thank you. Oh, thank you. She said trauma response and need your buddy Buddha in public, and you're adorable. Thank you. Man, my chair is irritating me. So no, it's like really like squeaking. Anyways, so most of us are haphazardly using energy. Okay, so we're haphazardly bringing some of this in. but then we're also pulling our life force energy through our crown, and it's just all over the place and we have no control over it. So it's just, we're all about learning to take control of this, learning to amplify it and use it in a way that is helpful to us. So you can look this up. Also too, I have this in my note that Professor Oshman, he did some studies around the Earth's vibrational energy and it did some data collection on that. It's a natural inducer of antioxidants. So cleaning out the system, clearing out your body from toxins, taking advantage of this. So here's another really cool thing you can do. When you get into the space, so, you know, if you're not trained in meditation, even if you are, so is what, you know, you take that deep breath, slowing stuff down, guys. You got to slow your nervous system down, because when your nervous system is going 100 miles an hour, you cannot get into this space. Slowing your nervous system down slows your mind down, slowing all your thought processes down. And you can actually ask yourself. So think about that space, like really far behind your eyes. And I did this earlier today and I got a really very interesting answer. Then I said that I would like to know what my life force energy in the moment looked like. Okay, now this is where you have to really let judgment go, because when we use this beautiful clairvoyant sense that allows you to feel, allows you to see, we could be together in the same space, and I could ask you, Gina, thank you. Hi, Jen. I could ask you to describe, like if we had a rose in front of us and I were to say, tell me about this rose. Yeah, thank you. It's my favorite. Nightmare Before Christmas is my obsession. If we were to say, you know, tell me about the rose. Some of you are going to say it's red. Some of you are going to tell me that it smells, you know, like floral. And some of you are going to go into a space where you start telling me about the properties of what rose can do if you grind it up, you know, or you dry it up. And so a rose is not a rose is not a rose. To each of us, it's something a little bit different. Like I'm going to look at it from like an herbal perspective of the oil of the rose, where someone else is going to look at it as, you know, maybe someone gave them a rose and so it has a significant memory meaning, or it's somebody's favorite flower in the family. See where I'm going with that? So when you sit with yourself and you ask and you say, I would like to know what my own life force energy looks like. So I did this today, and I'm telling you that, you know, even myself, I'm like, let it come. Don't get judgmental with yourself. Guess what I saw? Cherries and vanilla. And I was like, cherries and vanilla. When I did that, I started to see, I got an image of cherries and like some very like vanilla looking stuff. And I was like, all right. And so you go with it. And if someone were to ask me, you know, what makes you really good at doing energy work, I'll tell you that that's why, because I don't doubt what I see. If I smell fried chicken when I'm working with a client, I tell them that I smell fried chicken. And then if you guys haven't heard my fried chicken story before, I did have a client and I was like, I smell fried chicken. I'm not sure intuitively what this is. And the guy was like, that's because I had a best friend that I used to go to baseball games with. And they ate fried chicken at these baseball games every time they went, and he actually passed away. And so it was a connection with his friend that I was smelling this fried chicken. So anyway, when I started to like let myself not be judgmental, and I was like, cherries and vanilla, happy summer, cheery, warm, beautiful smell of cherries. I love cherries. So don't try to make sense of everything, okay? It's just what my life force energy was at that time. You could get it as a color, it could come as a song, it could come as a smell. If you allow yourself to be open intuitively, you can get all kinds of stuff. Each of you have different senses as far as getting that. And no, it's not something you're born with as a gift, okay? Everybody has the ability to tap into their intuitive abilities. It's just that some of us have learned how to do it. Some of us have been taught how to do it. And Some of you as children, it wasn't as squashed out of you as it was with others. So that's why we're all kind of at this different level. Okay. But it's a divine right that you have to get into this space. Okay. So that's a cool thing you can do. You can sit with yourself, get really deep into that space and ask, what does my life force energy look like? And it will change. It will change depending on your vibrational frequency. It'll change based off of all kinds of stuff. So we're going to go back to that grounding space because now we're going to combine our life force energy and we're going to combine it with the energy that we're bringing in from our feet from grounding. So this is the cool thing, is because your energy that you're bringing in through your crown, I want you to think of it as coming down, not through your spine, but as two separate lines through your back. Okay. So you're bringing it in through your crown. You've already got, because we already did this, we've already got this resonating, beautiful source coming in through our feet. Remember, it's going through your legs to your root chakra at the base of your spine and back down. You can get rid of stuff, but now we are bringing in crown. We're bringing in that energy to each side of your back, left and the right, not through your spine. It's right off to the side. And then it's coming down, and guess what it's doing? It's combining beautifully in your root chakra, and they're combining together. And now you have your beautiful life force energy, and it's combining with this beautiful energy of the earth. And you just take a moment when you really get into the space and allow yourself to feel it. And as you do this, you're going to then imagine this energy, after it's mixing, coming back up through now your front, and you're allowing it to go through each of your chakras, starting with your chakra at your navel and then at your stomach, up through your heart chakra and into your throat. And then you just allow it to go out through your shoulders and through your arms. And it's beautiful. And I'm telling you, if you allow yourself to imagine this and feel it, your body will feel amazing. You will feel a complete state of well-being. And as I just realized that I moderately hypnotized myself. So that was cool. Anyways, which is so cool. You will feel it and it goes out. So here's where we go. So after we get into this space, right? Everything's flowing beautifully. You're going to send some of this energy out through your crown, and it goes in concentric circles all around your body. And this is what is called your aura. Okay. So now we're going to talk about your aura and why this is important. I love this word. I got it from one of my mentors that I'm doing some training with. Pharmacopoeia. Your body is the pharmacopoeia. It's a space where you have the full ability to heal. You have the full potential, the full energy by doing this kind of stuff that I just told you about. Because before you do this, you're all over the place. Things are not flowing right. So bringing it in, mixing the energy from the earth, bringing it in through the energy from your own life force energy or your soul spirit, and making it balanced. Now, here's your aura. Your aura moves and it flows. And if you try, some of you can actually see the auras around people, but you don't really need to be able to see them. You can definitely feel them. Okay. And depending on a person, if you learn, you can actually bring your aura in and you can send your aura out. If you send it out too far, it will feel very uncomfortable for you and you will feel very disconnected. So there's usually about a space, and if you play with it, you can feel where your energy is and you can actually bring it in. If you're around people that you don't want in your aura, you can bring it in closer to you, can send it back out. It's really cool to do this exercise, and you can actually also, using your hands, you can feel the auras of other people, but you should ask them if you can feel them. But you can do this little exercise where have somebody sit in a chair and you could just ask them, say, can I have permission to fill your aura? And get permission, right? Because this is like digging through someone's purse. Okay. Nobody wants to have their aura jumped into, and also it can be really unsettling for them. Okay. So some people do this, right? Naturally, they jump into your aura and it's really irritating to you. And that's why you're like, get away from me. But using your hands, you can actually feel someone's aura. So close your eyes, ask if you can feel their aura. Take a deep breath. Think about the energies that I just told you about, and you'll be able to tell when your hands get to a space. It's different for everybody, and everybody's auras feel different. You might feel a texture change. You might feel a temperature change in the air. You might feel all kinds of stuff, but it's really cool. And then you can have the person with intention, imagination, tell them to bring their aura in, and then see if you can feel that it's gone or that it's moved. It's actually, I know for some of you, you're like, whoa, that's a lot. It's actually an easier little exercise than you think it would be, because you do this all the time. When you walk into a room and you don't know anyone, there are certain people that if you walk up to them, it feels really good. Like I even met a group of people the other day that I didn't know anybody. And there were definitely people that I was like, oh, I was more drawn to them, and others that I was like, not so much, right? Listen to yourself. Your aura is an automatic detector for who is good for you and who is bad for you. But we so ignore it because we're using our brains, we're using our minds to make all of our decisions instead of our energy, because that's what we've been taught. Okay. Now, here's the other cool thing. Depending on where you have your thoughts. So I like to emphasize thinking in the now, because thinking in the now keeps your aura nice and balanced. When you get stuck in the past, then your aura shifts, and it shifts actually this way behind you. It shifts behind you, which leaves me really vulnerable. Okay. Or if I'm thinking too far ahead, my aura shifts to the front of me, which leaves me very vulnerable. So if I have a back problem, it's very possible that my aura is really thin and not balanced, because that's what your aura is. It's like your spiritual skin. And when your aura is thin in certain places, like sometimes I work with clients and they actually have a tear in their aura and it's causing them all kinds of havoc, because your aura is a protection for you. It's no different than if you have a giant cut on your arm. If you couldn't see it, but it's getting infected, it's the same thing with your energy systems and your emotions. And so understanding that and balancing your aura. So focusing, grounding, bringing your center back to the now. You can't fix anything that happened in the past, and you are not in control of the future. So focus on the now moment. And that will help your aura to stay nice and balanced so that you don't have weak places, which can then cause all kinds of pain, allow you to get parasites, viruses, all that kind of stuff. Okay. Perfect. So balance. All right, guys, that's a lot. That's a lot for you to digest. So that's what I'm going to leave you with now. And for those of you that are like, I don't know if I believe whatever any of this is, just know I was on your boat at some point. I was I'm not saying you're miserable, but I was on the boat. I was miserable. I was doing medication. I was going to therapy, and I could not get myself back into a healthy space. This is what saved my life. This is what brought me back to realizing my inner child is well and alive, right? You see all my fun stuff. When people are like, what's up with your 8-foot hutch with like all the crazy stuff on it? That's me loving myself. That's me loving my inner child. I let it blossom. I let it bloom. I laugh. I love life. I give out the sparkles. It's a beautiful way to live. So here's what I want to tell you here's what I want to leave with you. What you believe is your truth, period, dot. So if you believe that all of this is stupid, then it will all be stupid to you, and you will not be able to ever progress past your little mortal physical body. So I'm telling you, be mindful of what you believe in. This also includes not believing the opinions of other people, right? Because what's more damaging to you? Believing the opinions of other people. And in fact, for those of you that are like skeptical about everything that I just talked about, it's all based off of you believing the opinion of someone else or being worried about what others think. So let it go. Let it go. Allow yourself to thrive. Allow yourself to find your energy source. And remember that what you believe is what becomes true for you. Okay, guys, I hope you have a beautiful rest of your week. I hope we get some sunshine here. It's been sunshine. It's been like 3 freaking days of pure rain. I'm totally but my house is super clean because there was nothing else to do over the holidays. So, always turning a negative into a positive. All right, guys.